Welcome to Grudge Warriors, a game that I bet you haven't heard of. But you're about to, for a long, long time. Sound thread, that whole cutscene sounded bugged and messed up, but you get the idea. A vehicle was shooting stuff into the sky and probably blowing up another vehicle in the process. So, immediately we have a very extreme change of tone. This font is very cartoonish, and the sound design here in this opening title sequence, very cartoonish. Let's meet our cast of characters in Grudge Warriors. Where, again, the tone shifts to a lot of deliberation as we decide. Plays Chrome Dimension or Team America World Police. I'm immediately going to switch back because the character right after Team America, pretty interesting. I'm saving them for last. We'll see why. Disciples of Pog. Norse Force 5, which is pretty clever. Sundogs, sure, definitely not top tier choices. Pyromaniacs, I would go for. Pike Squad, seems like maybe they were going for an offensive joke there. H2SO4. Deathcore. Deathcore is an awesome name, actually. I never said that one aloud, but yeah, I'll take Deathcore. But this is the one I was saving. Slick Runners. Mario and Luigi giving the middle finger. And then I guess that's Wario in the background? Behind them? What the hell? So, this is a really inconsistent style in all the characters. But these are gangs in a dystopian future where countries are run by gangs. And they assert their dominance over the regions that they own by creating souped up death vehicles. But now, one gang wishes to conquer all the other gangs. Let's see if Slick Runners will send their death car across the entire world and conquer it. Spoilers, they are not going to, but we'll see why. As we fight the Pike Squad, the first enemies assigned to us. So we have a target, like a three-pronged metal tower that we need to look out for. That's fascinating, isn't it? So, when I looked up the Wikipedia article for this page, and it's one of the few things that exists as far as information about this game. This is a very obscure game. And the title, I find impossible to stick in my brain. Pizzarato brought this game to my attention quite a while ago, and I simply could not remember it for the life of me. Because it's called Grudge Warriors, a title that means absolutely nothing. But there exists a Wikipedia page for it. That Wikipedia page has a bunch of reviews quoted. Every review it's such a ripoff of Twisted Metal. It's just taking the formula of Twisted Metal and doing it worse. This is exactly the same as Twisted Metal. It uses the same control scheme as Twisted Metal, and the same button configurations, and the same basic gameplay loop. It's just Twisted Metal. This game has almost nothing in common with Twisted Metal. I don't know what the hell the reviewers are talking about. I just played Twisted Metal for an hour. It certainly did not prepare me for this. And like, one of the specific accusations is that it takes the control scheme directly from Twisted Metal. That is not even 1% accurate. Like right now, I'm accelerating with X, I'm reversing with square. Those are the only two movement controls that I need to worry about. Attacks are performed with the right trigger. I do have a machine gun. The machine gun is absolutely worthless because I cannot fire my main weapon while I am firing the machine gun. And the damage output on the machine gun is pathetic. So I should not waste my time with the machine gun. Here's an enemy vehicle. Enemy vehicles are uncommon and non-aggressive and wildly outclassed by our vehicle. So this one is dead with like 5 missiles out of the 30 that we start with. Like, I'm legitimately baffled by why all the reviews kept bringing up Twisted Metal. This game really is not similar to Twisted Metal. It is not meaningfully a car combat game. It's just a game where you happen to be in a car for the entirety. So over there, we have a pretty obvious panel. I can hold circle, and then the D-pad controls the angle of the gun. This is very important, because I need to snipe that in order to open it. And I need to open it in order to get in there. This arrow conveniently points to the panel that I just opened, so that I can land on it more easily. And then when I'm in here, there's more vehicles that are basically harmless, and a generator. This is a mission-based game, which is also quite unlike Twisted Metal. And our mission in every level is to destroy every available generator. Every single one. Once we do that, we win. The vehicular combat aspect is optional. It is recommended. There are times when damage output will be too severe, and you will die if you don't kill the enemy vehicles. But for the most part, you can avoid them. And often, you should. So that was a recharge thing. Stand underneath it. It fills up your armor, but not your health. Health never comes back. So you want to keep your armor up. And it refills your ammo. We have an ammo cap, which is relatively low if I insist on using the missiles. We have a shared ammo pool between all of our weapon types. We have 3 different weapons. The homing missile, these just laser blasts, and mini nuclear warheads. I believe the back of the box calls these mini thermonuclear warheads. And they have an arcing shot, which we do know from Twisted Metal makes them worthless. So they take up less ammo per usage. The homing missiles are the easiest to land, and they do by far the most damage. So they're the best weapon, and they cost the most ammo. Here's a firewall. We're gonna have to become a hacker to get through there. We got this gate that won't open. So let's keep exploring, see if we can open the gate. I'm probably going to stick with the homing missile for most of this game, as it solves most of our problems. So we have this port here, beeping at us. This is a puzzle. The solution of the puzzle is to wait. So, to facilitate that solution, disable the frame limiter so we can wait much faster. Emulators are going to make this game much more tolerable. Uh-oh. That's a problem. I missed my chance to sneak in there. Pretty sure that guy will come back. But now I have a lot more waiting on my hands. Let's see. Is there any way to solve this puzzle retroactively? I legitimately don't know. Is it that easy to soft lock yourself? It appears that it might be. Let's leave and see if I can respawn the vehicle. Because my first time playing this level, I came to the end here, and this machine dispensed the vehicle for me, and I immediately blew it up. And then I just sat here at the end of a dead end, twiddling my thumbs, not knowing what to do next. Turns out if you leave the area and come back, it does respawn the vehicle you need. How nice of them. So there we go. Once everyone's dead, all the gates open permanently. But that's not everyone. The main reason we came into this central area is this thing. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it generates the firewall. There's our hacker. Also, one of these passageways does contain a generator. And I do need to find that generator. I think it's down here? Yeah, there it is. Gotcha. We've also got these tokens. The tokens notably are a W with a star over them, which is your only hint that they are weapon upgrades. You need to collect a lot of them, and then you'll get permanent weapon upgrades. So I'm gonna get all the tokens in this level and then not focus on the tokens as much. Tokens are not required. I did exit from an area that I did not enter. This is the other side of the platform. I have a good sense for the layout of these levels, but I don't think I'm going to go out of my way to help everyone get their bearings as we continue to play this game. Or we'll be here forever. This is quite a long game. Every single character on the character select screen has a full level, done in the exact same style as this level. There are 11 characters. And then a final boss. So, this is a long-ass game. And we're gonna be here a while in order to complete it in its entirety. The main reason we're doing this is because Pizzarato wanted me to. Pizzarato has been ridiculously kind, and I'm more than happy to oblige the whims of such kindness. Even if they were explicitly conditional on such things rather than merely a suggestion. This game is entertaining enough to warrant showing off. Oh, by the way, I shot the crane as soon as I walked in here. The crane was holding a box, the box fell and exploded, blowing up the entrance to this cave. So there are a bunch of puzzles, we'll call them, to get between basically every area in this game. This is a thing that will kill me very, very, very quickly. A flame jet. You ought not mess around with the flame jet. There's a mini-boss in here. Clearly, I don't need to bother with the mini-boss. We have all the generators. We're set. So I'm not going to fight the mini-boss. There's not even a token in there. There is absolutely no reason to fight the mini-boss. That is just the most dangerous part of this level, and there's no reason to do it whatsoever. So, let's get the hell out of here. I have no idea which token I missed. And it doesn't matter in the slightest because we will not be continuing with this playthrough. When you play through a campaign in this game, the team that you're playing as has their levels skipped in the rotation order. You cannot fight your own country, basically. Because why the hell would you? You wouldn't. It makes no plot sense, and this game is nothing if not perfectly logical. There is one last puzzle at our disposal here. Here's where the dropship is, on top of this platform, but there's no ramp up to the platform. So what we gotta do is take this ramp, elevate ourselves over here, and then get a running start and boost ourselves over there. For some reason, my vehicle is swerving. I think that's a geometry issue and a vehicle weight issue. So we're about to switch to the Pike Squad in order to skip this level and then play through the entire rest of the game as the Pike Squad so that we don't have to play through this level again. So that way we will get to see every level in this game. Lucky us. That took way longer than I had hoped. I guess I should focus on moving us forward at all times. I'm gonna skip through this because it doesn't matter. Like I said, we're gonna drop out on the Slick Runners. The Slick Runners are a good choice because they are the final enemy gang in this entire game when you play the campaign. They will always show up as the very, very last gang. Which means their level is, in many ways, the hardest in the game. But it's also gimmicky, as we'll see. Really, I would say you would want to skip the America team. Or the team before them. I don't remember which team that is. Oh, the Sun guys. Oh, I hate that level so much. We're going to get to it. It is no longer optional because we are playing as the Pike Squad. We have seen our one level that we're going to skip. The level we just played is our one Mercy level. So now we start from scratch. I'm going to switch to my homing shots. And we're going to want to find every single generator in this here level. This level is way, way, way harder than the Pike Squad. The Pike Squad level is notably the easiest by a very wide margin. Not for any good reason. Just enemies seem to do way more damage and are way more plentiful in this level. So we got a lot more to deal with on our hands. Most future levels will not take 16 minutes, mercifully. That was me explaining things, over-explaining things, quite frankly. And generally taking things slow for demonstrative purposes. But now we roll. Time to schmoove and all that. We gotta get to the Disciples of Pog as soon as possible. The Disciples of Pog are one of the earliest enemies we have to fight. As noted, information about this game is minimal. There are no FAQs about this game on GameFAQs. And I've only been able to find one full playthrough on YouTube, recorded 2 years ago. And I am hopeful to bury it, because it's not very good. So here's something that makes no sense. Let's drop bombs in this hot water. There. We dropped enough bombs. The screen shook. That means something happened. Some of the puzzles are very, very, very illogical. This is one such puzzle. But we need to deactivate this laser grid. And the only way to do that is to overload hot water with nuclear warheads. I mean, obviously. You don't get to be a gang that runs a country if you don't know that. Basic common sense. We can snipe over the laser grid, but there is a generator in there. And the only way to get to that generator is to actually physically get inside. Yep. There's our warheads. And you can see the flame next to the thing also overheats to help indicate that you're doing the right thing. But it makes absolutely no sense. I would never figure that out in a million years if there weren't someone else who did a YouTube playthrough already. Bit of a sneaky panel there. However, we will be required to backtrack through this area because it is intentionally laid out in an inefficient manner so as to require backtracking. And it is by no means the only level that does that. That is a very common level design. Wasting your time as much as possible was very much the mission statement of this game's design. Wouldn't want to land in the water. That seems like a thing that would be punished. Surprisingly, it is not. It is not a big deal to fall into the water in this game. You just respawn right next to where you fell in. Even if you fall off like a high platform, it teleports you back up to the platform you were on before you fell in the water. It's very, very generous and actually very well implemented. In fact, overall, this game, its history is that it was released at $10. It's a $10 budget game. So bear that in mind as we play through it. And it actually plays pretty well, all things considered. We did just blow up that turret, and it keeps firing at us, which is very confusing to me. But we need it to fire at us, because it's the only thing that can blow up this cracked wall. It's like pimple on the rock wall here. None of our weapons will do it. There it is. It's quite difficult to manipulate the turret to do that, but also required. So it's indestructible, and then once we get inside, we find another pimple, which we can easily blow up with our weapons. Who knows why? Arbitrary rules. But there's our last 4 tokens. No specific reward whatsoever for getting all the tokens. Also not required. What we have in front of us is another optional boss fight. And if I set foot in there, it will activate the boss and lock this door behind me. I would do that, but my HP is very low because I got hit a bunch of extra times. So instead, I will not do that. See, I would have gotten sniped on my way out by that damn turret. There's another turret right here. You're never safe from turrets. There's this. More energy lasers. Can't shoot through those, they're clearly impenetrable. So what we need to do is something that makes no sense, you'll be surprised to hear. We need to find another generator, blow it up. Once you've blown up the second to last generator, no matter where it is located, that deactivates that energy grid. That energy grid has to be the final generator. So, it's the final generator now, so we can head over there and take it out. If you missed any along the way, you are going to do a lot of backtracking. And you will be kicking yourself. I'm going to take a little pit stop for a health refill, because I do not want to die now. And there are enemies in the way. So I'm going to charge up my shields just to be safe. I guess I could also just save state. And as the levels get even more dangerous, I will be abusing save states more and more. Save time more than anything else. Prevent me from interacting with the game's clunky mechanics, a lot of which are intentionally designed to waste your time. But since I did take out every single collectible on my way here, we can go up this semi-shortcut through a waterfall. Past this thing that I don't even care about. Oh no, I fell in the water. Teleports me right back where I was. And there's the dropship. No further action required on our part. Pretty much the most efficient path through this level possible. There is indeed no, like, extra optional material in this game. You can ignore all of the tokens, and that is your optional content. Everything else is required. Disciples of Pog already. 3rd level of the game. Disciples of Pog have an interesting level. It's like a haunted funhouse with a little gimmick to it. The music is super weird, but overall, I would say this game's soundtrack is surprisingly good. Better than it needed to be for a game that was sold at $10. I would expect the production values to just be in the gutter all the way through. And they're not. They're fine. Graphics are fine. This game came out in the year 2000. So a very late PS1 game, which explains why it looks so good and plays relatively well. The technical elements were more or less worked out and mastered on the PS1 console by this point. I am already lost, having accomplished none of the collectibles. Already don't know where the hell I am. Let's go to the haunted house. There's nothing at the haunted house. We can't do anything here. I don't think this section has any reason to exist. But I do like it. I think it looks cool. I wish they had made you do stuff there. There's our first generator. Oh no, I rolled over. Rolling yourself back onto your wheels is quite easy, considering other car combat games of the era. That is a mercy. I will gladly accept that mercy. So, there's our 3rd generator down out of 5, and our 4th generator down. 1 left already. We are gonna have to play through the entire rest of the level to get that last generator. The Disciples of Pog are pranksters. Clowns in many ways. Bunch of sweet tooths. And they want to make this as obnoxious as possible. So they give you almost everything you need right off the bat. And then the last thing, which is equally as important as all the others combined, they're going to withhold for a super long time. This is still a shorter level than most. Lock-on doing me no favors. The Jack-in-the-Box got a bunch of free hits. You can't see it, but there is a shield generator above me. Like a blue spot on the wall. And I think I've destroyed it. You can see the giant robot there on top of the bridge. Has a blue shield around it. So we need to break the shield generators. And I don't know why that hasn't happened yet. Yeah, that one's gone. It glows blue, but it is still active. And it was not doing so. Draw distance is a big issue in this game. There we go. Glowing blue panel. So now we can cross the bridge and fight the robot. Or we can lock onto the robot from here, where it cannot return fire. And I can just hold the attack button until it blows up. I'm not certain the Disciples of Pog thought that one through. Oh, wouldn't want to fall off. I do want these tokens. All the ones we collected in the first level did absolutely nothing. But they were building up towards a minimum. And when we reach that minimum, we will unlock this vehicle's special weapon. Every vehicle in this game has a special weapon. We don't have access to it until we've collected many tokens. Which is a bit of an unfortunate design decision. So we can blow up pipes on the wall, which shows us an area we haven't seen yet. Somewhere. Off in the level. We can assume. There's a recharge over here, and I need it. And it's also well guarded, so I'm gonna head over here. Start blasting people while I'm recharging. Good thing that works. I'm still very near death. And I've used up this recharge station. The other one is on a separate cooldown timer, so if I were to head out and hit the other recharge station, I would be permitted to recharge, and I might have to do that. It's pretty far away, though. But I have basically no HP. I could be one-shotted by some of the turrets that are everywhere. Let's take a very, very long detour to get over here. Very important. So close to dropping myself right on the bridge. Now I do have to go all the way around. Losing control. Fishtailing a bit. But overall, I'd say the controls are pretty sharp. I have minimal complaints about how this game controls. Here's kind of a neat thing. We got a wacky spiral wall. Once I clear the jack-in-the-boxes out here. Takes way more ammo than I expected. You know, these jack-in-the-boxes aren't hurting anybody. I'm gonna leave them alone. Focus on this one that actually is hurting me. Head down here. And we got this thing. A wacky spiral just floating above the ground. Here's where the machine gun is actually useful. That deactivates the spiral temporarily. Yeah, this thing. Let's see what that is. Honestly, I don't know what that is. There are power-ups we can pick up. And they all have different effects, and it's a bit unclear what that effect is going to be. Yeah, I don't know what that does. Seems to just be disco mode. So fair enough. I've activated disco mode. Now we need to drive off this platform into the Pepto-Bismol. So what's very weird right now, I don't know why. I do know why. That power-up counteracts the effect of the Pepto-Bismol. That's actually kind of neat. The Pepto-Bismol reverses my controls. And I have to come down here. So right now, reverse is forward, forward is reverse, left is right, right is left. This is difficult to get used to. When they just sort of drop it on you without warning. Now I need to set myself up in a good position. But yeah, Disco Vision counteracted the reverse controls thing. But as soon as it ended, I had reverse controls again. And I currently have reverse controls even though I'm out of the Pepto-Bismol. It lasts for a couple of seconds. It's currently in effect. But I'm free. So we get rid of the green spiral. We drive back to the main area. Oh, there was some of those pipes on the wall, and I didn't hit them. What a shame. I'll be honest, I don't know where the pipe area is. There are no generators there, so it doesn't matter. I tried to find it on my practice run, and I couldn't, and I don't care. Seems relatively interesting, but it's kind of hard to find. So I'm not gonna find it. In a bit of a situation now, where I have almost no HP. There's not much I can do about it. Besides, find the last generator, which is right there. Now make our way to the dropship. Oh, sniped. Fortunately, it did set up this safety thing. I will set it up a little further next time that I inevitably get sniped. Lock on has selected the wrong object. So what I'm gonna do is focus on this side. Wipe that out. That didn't go great, if I'm being honest. My controls are still reversed. Wish I'd known that that was a Pepto-Bismol counteractor that I received as a power-up. So I wouldn't mind not suffering the effects of Pepto-Bismol. And I took too long. The shield came back. You can't return from the platform that I was just on. There's no jump feature in this game, and there's a very slight lip. And this is causing a tremendous amount of slowdown. Oh. Almost didn't do the thing that I needed to do, which is shoot this thing. Should not have taken the time to blow up the pipes on the wall. That was my mistake. As it does not freeze the timer. I am very, very, very dead. As noted, the enemy vehicles don't matter. But the turrets do, and I swerve the wrong way again, because I'm reverse controlled. I'm experiencing the opposite of control right now. Notably, our vehicle has a very, very long cooldown between shots. This is less true with the, like, laser shot and some of the other weapons. But the missiles that I rely upon, super long cooldown. Right there, my controls unreversed. While I was trying to precisely maneuver myself into the tokens. New save state. That didn't go well in the slightest. I'm gonna load back. Yeah, the auto lock-on not doing me any favors. I desperately need to hit the nearest target, which is you. And then you. Before I get hit. So far, so good. Significantly less good. So that was the cooldown on our missile shots. Uh-oh. Picked the wrong target. Auto lock-on sucks. So I'm gonna wait for that to get destroyed. And head over here and blow up the clown. For safety. Save again. This is salvageable. As long as I don't do stuff like that. I need to snipe this thing. Wait for the cooldown. And not get comboed by the wandering dude buggy. As soon as that thing gets shot, it will leave. Clearly. That doesn't help me in the slightest. So I'm not going to that area. There's an eyeball. It is only vulnerable when the eye is open. If you were curious. So yeah, the manners in which this game is weighted against you get to be frustrating when you're assaulting an entire country over and over again with a single vehicle. Anytime I pause, it is to set up a save state in a safe situation so that I can do this. All I needed is to not get comboed by multiple enemies at the same time. That's all. But I'm getting comboed. Maybe some mild YOLOing, inadequate YOLOing. The Disciples of Pog traditionally appreciate a good YOLOing, in my experience. Ooh, they were waiting for me. That eyeball gets a free shot. There's you. Oh, the homing shot didn't feel like going for the target. That guy's inside the wall and his shots are not leaving. But eventually he teleported out of there. Free shot from the eyeball. Nothing I can do about that. Yeah, let's try and manual aim this. It worked. There's Jack in the boxes. They gotta go. Surprisingly, TNT will not harm us if we crash right into it. And our path out of here should be completely clear. Enemies don't respawn. There's nothing to really worry about, besides sheer misfortune. To minimize risk, throw down another save state. In case there's one of the wandering dune buggies. But there isn't, thankfully. So that's the Disciples of Pog. Interesting enough level. It's honestly got some of the better gimmicks. But, I took way too much damage there. Which really dragged things out. For 1 second too long. 13 minutes and 13 seconds. Onwards to the Pyromaniacs. This level is the lava level. It's honestly nothing special. I don't think this level's very good. But there is a much worse version of it way later in the game. So we will count our blessings that we are not on that level yet. In the meantime, we're gonna take our island vacation. My first time arriving here, I didn't really get how it was in any way related to pyromania. Then I started seeing the pools of lava, which are indeed everywhere. This thing is surprisingly not one of the generators. We just got propane tanks hanging out for no good reason. So we got laser grid. This enemy will probably leave as soon as it gets hit once. Drive itself over to the lava pool. The wandering dune buggies are redesigned for every single level, so they never look the same. But I'm pretty sure they are statistically identical throughout the entire game. Seems that way, at least. Got a W. So I'm just gonna snipe all the enemies from around the perimeter, because we are gonna have to spend a lot of time out here. We're gonna have to do a jump to get that token. This game is not a platformer. Even less so than Twisted Metal. Really need to find one of the recharges, because the yellow turrets take a lot of hits. But I think I've wiped them all out. So for safety, get my shields back. Most of them. And we saw a big hole in the wall. I think that's where we want to go next. But we're ultimately going to have to explore absolutely everything because the generators are everywhere. This is eventually going to give me access to the laser grid areas. I've lost a lot of health, and the indoor areas are a bit dangerous. But I also threw down a save state, so I have no choice but to roll with it. There are a bunch of different entrance ways. They all look about the same. So it is definitely unclear which laser grid we just deactivated. But thankfully it's this one. Blow that up. Take out all the defenses. Generator on the ceiling, and that's pretty much it as far as defenses. So we have these big silos. The silos have vents. We blow up the vents, and then something will happen. A bridge extended. Somewhere. There's a clue as to where the bridge extended. And I'll point that clue out in a moment here. On that one, we could sort of see a red and yellow sign. That is the location where the bridge extended. But it flashed by so quickly it didn't matter. But over here, I guess it was red and white. Over here is an identical sign. This one says LP1. That one says LP2. So we just extended bridges in LP1 and LP2. Thankfully, this patrolling thing is not attacking me. That thing could have done a lot of damage, because the homing shots had a real hard time finding it. I assure you it is possible to make this jump to get the token. But very awkward. There's no consistent way to do it, and I don't think I'm going to do it today. Another token I'm not getting, but I missed like 13 in the last level, so whatever. I think this is LP1, yep. Save state. Don't want to waste any more time than necessary. Seems like we just emerged on the other side of where we went down, but this is a new area that is otherwise inaccessible. And it's got generators. They have to go. And there's different kinds of propane tanks, which are entirely optional. Just blow them up for fun. It is admittedly kind of fun. Don't ignore this pool. This pool is a good place to swim if you want to find this secret, which is not a secret at all because it is 100% required to beat the level. That was a generator on the ceiling. Now we need to get out of the pool, which can be difficult. It requires a lot of momentum. Made it look easy, I've also been stuck in that pond for a very long time. There's a bit of randomness. Anytime you need to, like, go over basically anything. But now we need to find LP2. The entrance to LP2 is very awkwardly placed. It's facing towards the outside of the island. I believe it is very close to the ground floor. So somewhere, I think this is LP2 right here. Yep, a little unclear. Oh. How did I miss that? This is where the last generator is, so if I get first shot on all enemies, we win. And if I don't, we lose. For some reason, I'm not nailing this target. There seems to be like a maximum range thing. Pizzerato, who's the only other human in the world who is familiar with this game, said that the Jack-in-the-Boxes could not be killed while they were closed. But I absolutely killed some of the Jack-in-the-Boxes while they were closed. There seems to be maybe a maximum range mechanic. Or something like that. Careful, don't fall in lava. Lava actually will help you. It will hurt you, unlike water, which just teleports you to safety. Lava will absolutely not help you. I took a big risk there. This is one of the few things that can softlock you, is going over an edge and landing on top of a destructible object. I will point out later in the game an instance where I did just that, and I was never able to recover. Well, actually, I was able to recover, but it took like 5 minutes of finagling. So I took way too much of a risk there, landing on top of where I already knew the generator was. That was extremely unwise. But I did drop a save state near here. I think if I had gotten every single token so far, this would be the earliest level where I could unlock the special weapon upon completion of the level. Weapon tokens only pay out at the end of a level. During the, like, results screen. And if I'd gotten all 60 tokens so far, pretty sure we would get a prize. I did not do that, though. So I highly doubt we will get a prize. But maybe. Can't rule it out. I don't know what the limits are on the token requirements. There is virtually no documentation on the rules of Grudge Warriors. Yeah, no prizes. Total tokens 46, which is not enough. I'm actually going to save. And I hope it doesn't crash the game. The emulator I'm on tends to crash during saves, but this time it did not. Onward to Robotech. We're looking for these wrenches. These double-sided wrenches. Or vice grips. And we're gonna blow them all up. I can speed this up. It is a pretty severe loading screen. Load times are atrocious in this game. We're already being shot in the cutscene. Luckily, we can't lose HP, but the second the cutscene ends, we will be able to lose HP. We can also skip those cutscenes. I haven't been so far, but I guess I will in the future, because they're the same every time. The locations change, but what happens during the cutscene, same every time. This is where level layouts get absurd. I find this level very hard to navigate, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that it all looks the same. Everything in this level pretty much looks the same as everything else. But we're gonna deal with it. As long as we keep moving, we'll just cover enough ground that we're probably going to get to all the locations we need to get to as efficiently as we need to do that. So this battleship here provides a grate, which has one generator behind it, so we absolutely have to find it. And head into this hallway, which has these hidden panels. If this wasn't a PS1 game, and these walls were actually smooth, it would be nigh impossible to find these panels. Fortunately, this is a PS1 game, and technical limitations provide hints as to where destructible panels are located. Very, very helpful. A lot of the music tracks in this game are direct parodies. The Disciples of Pog was the first instance where you could definitely see specific circus music motifs in the music. This level is not an instance, so I don't know why I brought it up here, but pay attention. See what direct references you can spot throughout this game's soundtrack. So the passageways we've explored so far are the only ones currently open to us. If I recall correctly, the next thing we need to do is find some kind of destructible panel that will open up a door. And that door will open up an additional door. So on and so forth. As we make our way through this level. Pretty sure I haven't explored this alcove. Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely haven't. This is classic save state territory. So, this is a deadly grid. Our controls are pretty good. They're not good enough to make this reasonably navigable. I mean, it's reasonable enough, but there are certainly challenges involved, and that was a generator in the back here. If we touch one of the lasers, it will deal massive amounts of damage very, 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 very rapidly. So don't do that. Fortunately, I did not. Didn't even need my save state. But my first attempt at this level, that is where it ended. Unsurprisingly. Here's one of the locked doors. We did not succeed in unlocking any of these doors. So I guess I will shoot the satellites. I don't know if the satellites will help me in any way. Straight up forget what the next step towards progress is. Let's try heading this way, seeing what happens. Let's go for the lower route. There's another satellite. There's a cave. That cave is looking pretty hot and tempting. It is of negligible use, although I do think I saw... Okay. That's what we needed to open the door. Break that circuit. It's one of those doors that is held closed by electricity. And we have severed the electrical current. And yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that up there is a generator. It's really hard to see. And get a lock on. The nuke's not going to do it. Yep, that was a generator. Typically, the lock-on is pretty good at grabbing that generator, but not this time. Not at all. So, we opened up one of these doors. I'm gonna head in, clear it out, and that will open up another door, and then I think a third door. That's the door with the laser grid. The door we opened has little red markings in front of it. I don't believe that destroying the satellite matters, but just in case. Take that sucker out. Flying things always take one missile to kill. Somewhere around here is the door I opened. This looks new. It's got rolly guys in it. Very inefficient way to do treads. There, Robotech. It has worked out despite itself. Take these out for safety, head for the recharge, which I badly need for ammo more than anything else, because it does refill your ammo. Kill that guy. And... generator. I think there might be a second one? Everything in this game makes a specific sound cue, and I'm still hearing the generator sound in the area. There it is. Right there. One generator remains. I don't think this is the area that I meant to explore. Wikipedia says that there are pickups that will recover your actual health bar, not just your shield bar. Wikipedia has a lot of misinformation about this game. Hence why I like to keep quoting Wikipedia's article on this game. I think this is the laser grid, maybe? Nope, this is a place I haven't been yet. Look at that. You've got half an axle here. Axle pow. And another one. See, this was a Twisted Metal ripoff all along. It's full of axles. Pretty sure we don't need to blow up that thing. Seems like the only reason we came down here was to blow up that one circuit. To open another door. I don't know where that door is. But if I keep running laps around the upper level, we'll find it. The red markings on the ground indicate which doors are being opened as we do stuff. So we have something of a robot here. Pretty cool looking, actually. Final generator. There's still 2 tokens. There's one of them. Oh, I remember this room. It has a bunch of these missile warheads. They shoot out lasers that appear to be harming that vehicle. But we can also break them. I don't know what the point of any of this is. But if you really want to kill that flying vehicle, you gotta be careful to do so before breaking all of these. Otherwise it will have an impenetrable force field. But there's nothing else down here. What was the point of that? This game is bad at having a point sometimes. Is this a thing? No, that was the last generator, so we're good. Off we go. It's weird how much optional stuff is strewn about a lot of these levels. Because as noted, there is no, like, secret endings, no unlockables. The only thing that does anything is the tokens. And they only matter probably right now. We're probably going to get the only thing of value out of the tokens, which is our special weapon right here. I hope. Yes. Our super weapon, they're called, because special is obviously copyrighted by the Twisted Metal series. Tokens don't matter, and I'm not 100% sure if you get anything for getting 100% of all the tokens. I believe you don't. Could be wrong. Rome Dimension are described by the manual as formed from a failed workers' union of electricians. It's nice that they tried to form a union. We're gonna see their prowess as electricians. It may or may not leave something to be desired. It's the gimmick of this level. Oh, there's our special. I fired it accidentally. It requires a tremendous amount of ammunition. But it launches a whirlwind. It travels back and forth through the area. Does a lot of damage to everything it stumbles upon. I'm already being obliterated. Let me just load that up. Not fire the special because it was totally worthless. Maneuver ourselves out of harm's way while we take out the threats. Now we're all set. I don't have this game's manual, and I'm actually curious what is contained within because there are no uploads of the manual online. That information is lost to time, but manuals of this game are very cheap. You can get a full copy of this game with manual for like $3 plus shipping. So this was released as a budget title. It's still essentially a budget title. All these years later. 23 years later. Probably not quite 23 years. I doubt it came out in January of 2000. I recall the Wikipedia came out in like May. There's our first generator. I do kind of legitimately want a copy of this game. As much as this is not a good game, it's also not a bad game. Like, it got destroyed by critics when it came out. The general consensus is this ain't worth anywhere near the $10 they're asking. If I had spent $10 on this game, I would not be disappointed. This feels well worth $10. Not that I'm having the time of my life or anything, but this is absolutely a worthy experience. I do not consider it to be a car combat game, or a vehicular combat game, or any such distinction. But I do consider it to be a perfectly fine game, and it is adjacent enough that I am happy to explore it. It's definitely repetitive and overlong. The fact that it's so long is indicative of excessive ambition. They probably should have copped out and made fewer teams and therefore fewer levels. And we'll see later on, the levels are atrocious. I hate some of the later levels in this game. And I wish they were not required or in the game at all. But as usual, you cut some of the fat, you would have a good game on your hands. Let's see. And also, I profoundly do not understand why they insisted on calling this a Twisted Metal ripoff. It really does not scratch the Twisted Metal itch at all. In my book. And I really don't feel like that's even what they were going for. Not even really in the marketing or anything. I'm very curious about the lore as is present in the game manual, which Pizzerado clearly has and is sharing with me in chat, which is awesome. Saves me that $3. Something in here is shooting at me and it needs to die. I think this hot water actually hurts me. A little bit, yeah. It's taking me down. So we have an eyeball that I collected there. Let's blow this thing up. This is not a destructible. I don't know why I'm blowing it up. I mean, it's a destructible, but not a meaningful destructible. It doesn't do anything to destroy it. Whoa. This is a crowded hallway. Fortunately, not a lot of damage output from each of those individual enemies. There's a lot of them. Yeah, let's do this. I'm invisible. Enemies won't hurt me. Gotta blow up that rock. And and everything else. This base of operations is falling apart, so we can perhaps see why they failed as an electricians union and had to instead form a violence gang. These little laser things also suck. In terms of damage output, but also in terms of being hit. So I'm invincible. That's what the shield does. The weird Disciples of Pog unique power-up made the whole screen flash disco, but when only your vehicle flashes disco, that's invincibility, baby. Can't be hurt. Off we go. 2 more generators to degenerate. I blew up, but I had a save state all the way back here before I made as many mistakes. But I'm making a bunch of mistakes on my way to get back where I was, so let's take this clean. The hot water hurts, but only a little bit. There. Everyone's good and dead. Take my eyeball and I will use it more efficiently to evade threats. I suspect this area might be necessary. Yeah, I did not explore this, and there are almost certainly generators back here. Tokens. Tokens ain't too bad. But you really do have to scour every square inch of the entire game. That is fundamentally frustrating design. And it is the Achilles heel of this entire game. And there's no silver lining to it. There's no, like, twist that makes it actually good or justifies it. It's just bad. The whole concept of generators, which is the core conceit of the game, is the downfall of the game, unfortunately. This might be an optional fight. Yeah, I'm not seeing any generators back here. Maybe down here? That's a generator. I did have to come here. So, good thing I did. I might have to go all the way back to the pool area, though. I don't think there's any faster way back. Which rules. Intentional time-wasting level design. Okay, we saw the last 2 generators during that attempt where I died, I believe. So I think we're all set. Yeah, I've sort of gone in reverse the way that I went previously. I think we're doing relatively okay. Invisibility lasts for quite a while. And there It's the final generator. In case of emergency, I will launch the invincibility. For now, I'll use our special. The thing about our special is it's terrible. As noted, every vehicle in this game has a different special. I think this vehicle's might be one of the worst. Possibly the worst. But they're kind of the, if any vehicle were intentionally underpowered, it would be this one. They're the first enemy group you come up against, so they're not exactly the final boss. That said, we don't fight the playable vehicles as we go through each area. Like, as we fought this electricians union, we didn't actually fight the Chrome Dimension vehicle. And we won't fight H2SO4. We're just gonna kill the gang. H2SO4 is the chemical composition of sulfuric acid. And they are explicitly neo-Nazi punks. I guess you can sort of see that. Really, the only indication is the guy's jacket. The guy with ridiculously wide shoulders. But that sure is unnecessary. Thank you, Grudge Warriors. Someone's got to be a Nazi. When you gotta come up with 12 unique ideas for gangs. One of them's gonna end up being H2SO4. Oh god, this is also the level where I spent by far the longest amount of time in my blind learning of this game. My blind bumbling. Because it is a very long level, and I kept getting very unlucky. And dying right at the very end. If I'm not mistaken, there's a generator on the other side of this bridge. Am I mistaken? Let's find out. No, I'm thinking of the Disciples of Pog. This just has a secret passageway underneath the bridge. There's our generator. It's a pipe. NPFO H2SO4. Very well said. And we will indeed. Kill them all. Maybe I'll go out of my way to 100% wipe out this level. The design of this level intentionally drags you all over every single square inch of drivable ground, which I've said that about almost every level, but this level is more spread out and obnoxious about it. I haven't seen their vehicle, but apparently it is pretty solid. I know Robotech has an abnormally good special. Robotech being the level with the laser grid. The vehicle that skips that level. Its special is basically just the machine gun. And that's all it needs to be. Apparently, H2SO4's special is a very, very powerful rocket. So I guess they're this game's Mr. Grimm. Because as far as I can tell, statistically, every vehicle is the same. The only functional difference is their special. They're all shaped differently, which does make an impact. but certainly not a major impact. And when I screwed around a little bit with some of the other vehicles, there did seem to be very, very mild, like, speed and weight differences. But not enough that I was even certain they truly existed. Do I even want to know Pike Squad's official storyline? Because I was very concerned when I saw them on the character select screen. And if Pizzorato spelled out what their story is, I missed it. Possibly for the better, considering where this game is willing to go. Games could get away with a lot of shit back in the year 2000. And not get their ratings bumped up. Like, modern games can do basically whatever they want, so long as they're at least M-rated. But we've seen Warhawk, which had extremely disturbing segments, despite being an E-rated game. I played Legacy of Kain, which has a creature get ground up on screen with a meat grinder. That was T-rated when it came out. Ratings hit differently back in the PS1 era. Apparently the manual says that this vehicle, and presumably all the vehicles, do have different stats, but the stats they indicate are inaccurate. Which is quite unsurprising. The manuals were constantly lying in these games. And the back of the box I've actually read for myself, because people have uploaded images of that in their attempts to sell this game. And the back of the box says that this game has 23 levels. Now, I know there are 12 levels. We're going to see all 12 of those levels. I don't know what other 11 levels there could possibly be. Are they counting multiplayer variants of the main game levels as different unique levels for the sake of making a sales pitch? Could be. That would be a very cheap tactic. But apparently, yeah, that is what they're going for. So here's what screwed me over my first time ever playing this game and why it took me significantly longer than it needed to. We go around the side of this building. There's nothing ahead of us. But there is some danger, so you wouldn't want to go back there. But if you decide to go back there anyway, a generator pops in out of nowhere. And we can also drive over here, grab a token. Because there are people in chat who appreciate token completionism as much as I am ambivalent about it. So that is the worst instance of pop in and draws distance, totally screwing you over. There is legitimately no way to know that that would be there. You just have to actually drive across every accessible part of this level, or you are not making progress. It's a bit annoying. That seems to be a technical limitation and not the game intentionally being designed in a cruel way. If they were going for cruelty, screw them. We can break these boxes if we hit them hard enough. Get a bunch of speed and crash right into them. Break on through. That conspicuous gate is finally down. This is a very long level, even if you play it as efficiently as possible. And I'm very curious about the idea of speedrunning this game. It feels like there should be exploits, maybe glitches and like clips that would get you to parts of this level much, much faster. But playing the game entirely vanilla, it would also be interesting to see if there were ways to route a speedrun. Unsurprisingly, literally no one in the history of the world has attempted that or even had that consideration cross their mind, for obvious reasons of no one's ever heard of this goddamn game before. So this is another thing that wasted a lot of my time. You can roll down this platform, and it will wedge your wheels on top of those breakable objects. And that is one of the only things you can possibly do to get yourself locked in place for a very long period of time. And I did get myself locked there with my wheels, my back wheels on the ground and my front wheels facing directly upwards. Eventually I was able to angle a thermonuclear bomb directly upward at an angle where it landed on top of the destructible objects and blew them up. It took a very, very long time to get that miracle shot, and I almost ran out of ammo while going for it. And I had no way to get to the ammo regenerator, so I would have just been stuck forever if I had run out of ammo. Yeah, I would definitely be, like, curious about routing a speedrun for this game and, like, searching for glitches. Speedrun aficionados, this seems like a game that is worthy of a real close investigation. Because it seems very breakable. And, like, when it is broken, you could do some interesting crap with it. Like I said, by no means an objectively bad game. And I do find it legitimately interesting. This is an interesting room. Rolling barrels. We can shoot them. Like that. But they respawn infinitely. And obviously they do a lot of damage if they hit you. I believe the only reason to do any of that is to get that one token. The whole purpose of that room, with the mini-boss in it, is to get one token. Didn't need to come down here at all. So, let's get the hell out. I would like to imagine a world where this game could be completed in like half an hour, maybe an hour tops. Because a casual run with no deaths should only take, if you know the general routes and are vaguely efficient, it should take less than 3 hours, which is still very long. But not ridiculously long, and it could be ground down to 2 hours based on the information that I have. In my limited time with this game, I could probably beat this game in maybe as little as an hour and a half. Which is still too long to call it a speedrun. Deathcore! We're gonna listen to some Rivers of Nihil. And Headbang. I'm pretty sure that's a deathcore band. Court-martialed AWOL soldiers. So, like, respectable soldiers. Good for them. Makes me not want to murder them. Initially, I was uncomfortable with the military theme in this level. But I guess this is stolen military equipment, since they are not actually in the military anymore. So my initial blind run of this level, I went through, I got every generator, except that one. The one that you just didn't see because it's off screen. But it's still required. 2 basically invisible generators above the entrance here. Here's one of those goofy parody songs. There's nothing over this way except for tokens. So all my token heads in chat, this is for you. But yeah, this parody is like, I don't know the name of that trumpet song to get soldiers up in the morning. Glad falling in the water carries absolutely no penalty whatsoever. I think that's a fantastic design choice. Because I would absolutely expect falling in the water to at least take a big chunk of your HP away. I'm not even gonna bother with those other tokens. Future tokens basically don't matter. Occasionally they will unlock permanent stat upgrades, I think. It's a little unclear what they do. The game tells you, but I don't really read what they're trying to tell me. And it doesn't matter. All we wanted was the special, and our special is bad. But we have it. So, this track is electrified. If I try to cross the track, I will take a lot of damage very quickly. Which is why there's this ramp. Jump over the track. And awkwardly get to the other side, where I can do some combat. And heal up. Healing up is the main draw. There's also tokens. Could waste a lot of time hanging out on top of this wall, grabbing tokens. Okay, every 50 tokens gives you a permanent power-up. And as I suspected, very minor statistical upgrades. And in my experience, because I did get way more tokens when I did my blind run, I don't think they matter in the slightest. I did not notice any before and after difference when my stats upgraded. It's true. We are a squad of gay German tanker chicks obliterating US military abandoners. Destroying all this military hardware. For the sake of asserting dominance. It's pretty metal. I also like the general attitude of this game. I do think it has a comic book style. You can see that in the character designs on the select screen. That much is very obvious. It's kind of punk. It's comic book style with its heart in the right place for the most part. Granted, I don't think they were trying to make the lesbians cool. I just think they're cool. Because I've actually met lesbians, unlike the people who made this game, more than likely. Oh, that's not destructible. Yet. We need to make it destructible. Let's see if I can remember how. Part of it, I remembered how. Bad geometry hurled me off of the edge that I was skating along. Thankfully, no penalty. Very obvious generator. And slightly less obvious underground passage. That fork in the road was the correct choice. But if we go forward, we find another generator, which is necessary. Destroying that crate is not necessary. Yes, thank you. I always thought the front of this car did look like it had lips. Which is mildly body horror-esque. Alright, we opened that gate. We were able to lock onto that tank while it was still behind the gate. As sort of an indication that we'd have to break open that wall eventually. There's also this wall, which we can lock on through, but we can't shoot through it. There's stuff shooting at us. I don't know how to get past this wall. I beat this level without ever opening up that gate. Or getting to the other side, or whatever you're supposed to do. So, sorry, we're not going to see what's behind that grate. And I looked up the other person's playthrough of this, the only other existent recording of a full playthrough of this game. And that other person also did not go through that grate. So I have no idea how to get through there. The only human who might is Pizzerato. And, frankly, I don't care, even if I find out. It doesn't matter. I don't think there's even any tokens behind it. We'll find out, but, it seems profoundly pointless. Okay. It's bugged or poorly designed in such a way that there is perhaps no way past that gate. And it doesn't matter. Because, yeah, you don't need it to get all the tokens. I did recall that correctly. Or at least, it's possible me and Pizzerato are both incorrectly recalling it. Either way, it is unnecessary to completing the game. This is clearly not 100% run. So we have deactivated the electricity, which means we can go back and explore the rail. You need to be fast because it is unclear, but this is a limited time offer. So we can ride this rail carefully. Take out the last thing. Hey! It blew up the grate! That did not happen on my original playthrough. Interesting. You know, I'm gonna save the game. I might be the first person to ever get that crate down. I'm also gonna show this off. The rail goes this way as well, where it comes to a dead end. And that Silent Hill siren indicates that the electricity has been reactivated. So I ran out of time there. And I expected to run out of time, hence why I save stated. There we go. I'm gonna go check out what's behind that grate. Because I swear to you, after destroying all the generators last time, that did not happen. So my curiosity is piqued. Maybe that specific generator has to be the last one you destroy. Because last time I did this, it wasn't. The last one I destroyed was all the way back in the starting area. So let's see where the hell this goes. Maybe it goes back to the starting area. That would be nice. Oh, it's a mini-boss. With a shield that I don't seem to be able to break. I think I gotta shoot all these. So I'm gonna use the laser shot, which I rarely use, because the damage output on it is very poor and it has no homing. But it uses way less ammo and it fires way faster. And yeah, that took out the shield. It's dropping little Pogo Puffs. The nuclear warhead is not the right choice. Let's use the laser shot. The damage output on this thing is pathetic. So yeah, it's another one of those optional mini-bosses. I've taken that option. It accomplished absolutely nothing. I don't know why these mini-bosses exist. They're even a good idea, but they're not done in a way that means anything. It's over-designed. Which is not what I expected from a $10 game. I did expect this game to be way shoddier, based on the extremely forgettable title and the budget price point. But it is what it is. We're making pretty good progress. Uh-oh. My progress is suddenly less good. I didn't die. And I showed off what it's like to stand on the electrified rails for a long time. This thing just makes constant rounds around the level. Until you kill it. Just there for a bit of scenery. I mean, they put in train tracks. Gotta put in a train. That's just good design. There's our dropship. Let us go AWOL ourselves and never come back. Thankfully, they do recover all of your resources when you complete a level. Oh god, sun dogs are next? Yeah, sun dogs are next. As I recall, this is my least favorite level of the game. So if you were to play this yourself, and you won't, but if you were, I would suggest playing as the Sundog so as to skip this level. I suspected they were Japanese because Rising Sun as a logo of Japan. You do see that from games that are lacking in inspiration. And we are at the point of this game where they completely ran out of inspiration. I think this is a very uninspired, bad level. But it turns out this is nomadic peoples from the Middle East for some reason. None of that matters in the slightest. I wonder if it's a specific statistic that causes vehicles to drift at an angle when you're driving as them. I played as the Pyromaniacs. I considered maybe doing this playthrough as the Pyromaniacs before I realized that you skip the level you're playing as. So I basically had to play as the Pike Squad. And the Pyromaniacs are very slippery. It's almost impossible to drive the Pyromaniac vehicle forward, in my experience. There's a generator behind this gate. That obviously was the last generator I collected in my blind playthrough. But yeah, we've seen it before, where I would just be holding forward, but my vehicle would be sliding at an angle, rather than going strictly forward. This vehicle is much less prone to doing that than a lot of the other ones. Like I said, Pyromaniacs basically only slide at an angle, making their vehicle virtually unplayable. Thank you for stopping by, Connor Rose. Hope you enjoyed Grudge Warriors. Good idea stepping out at what I consider to be the absolute worst level in the game. And we're getting to the part that sucks. The underground area is just a mass of brown. It all looks the same. There is a landmark here. The laser grid. And we've seen this thing above the laser grid before. We can shoot it. We can shoot it. Let's try it with this. Okay, I can't shoot it from this side. I have accidentally entered the laser grid area from behind, so I don't even need to manipulate the laser grid. But I will have to check out the main area later, and then the laser grid might be convenient. So here, we have a unique enemy type. Not these turrets. These turrets are the sort of crap we've seen everywhere. We've got flying triangles, which are honestly kind of neat. They swarm around. I think if you get near them, they will, yeah, dive bomb you. Suicidal triangles. And I think they're generated by these wall ports. So it seems. Basically, they are bullets being constantly generated by holes in the wall, which I am therefore obligated to destroy, so that I am no longer harassed by triangles. Now we take out the laser gun, snipe the rest of the triangles, which do not do much damage at all, so it really doesn't matter. In fact, I'm not even certain they do damage. What we do have is a couple of generators. Not very many, though. But even one, obviously required. What we have over here is another conspicuous gate that I was never able to get open in my blind playthrough. Maybe it'll open up this time. I have no idea. Can't rule it out. Anything's possible. So I think my only choice, since I can't open the laser grid from the other side, or from this side, is to surface again and find the other entrance to the underground area around the other side. Because obviously the remaining generators are down there. Although I think there might be one in one of these side alcoves. I'm not certain. Everything in this level looks the same, and I find navigation to be a nightmare. But I think this is the other entrance to the underground. No, this is the same entrance? Yeah. Annoying. But everything looks the same. What you gonna do? Yeah, this is... I wouldn't say hell, I'd call it purgatory. Where simply nothing happens for all eternity. Worst level in the game. And it's not even that aggressively bad, it's boring bad. Which is worse than being aggressively bad. This simply must be the other entrance. Of course. I had to say something. How is it possible that I keep finding this same entrance? Let's just go as far away from here as possible. Honestly, I didn't even know there was a way to get to the back entrance. I really thought you had to go through the laser grid in order to get to that area. But apparently it would be possible to complete this entire level without ever tripping the laser grid. Okay, that looks familiar. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same area again. Legitimately unsure how this is geometrically possible. I've entered non-Euclidean space. Nothing occurring right now makes any sense to me. But I knew this would happen. That's my blind run. That is this level in a nutshell. This level, hilariously, has cost me like 7 Twitch viewers. Everyone is bailed on this game now. Can't blame them in the slightest. But we're making progress. The area I was looking for was blocked by a big old rock. So the remaining generators are in this area somewhere, but this area is also very large and everything looks the same. It's a bit well defended. But honestly, not even... like, it doesn't even have the respect to kill you. It wants you to live forever in misery. So like I said, this is a level you can skip simply by playing as the Sun Dogs. You'd be doing yourself a favor. Yep, here's the entrance I came from. I found 0 generators in my time down there, which is unacceptable. Need to find significantly more than 0. I didn't even attempt to map this out in my head when I played through this blind, so I knew it was hopeless. That's something. Is that a ceiling generator? No. I mean, thankfully not. That was some geometry on the other side of a single, like, sheet of geometry. Which I clearly was not meant to be able to see through, but I can see through it. And I can even shoot through it. There should be... There's audio cues indicating something nearby. Yep, that's the sound of a generator, or 2. We're free. I think this thing activates that door. How much you want to bet there's a mini-boss back there? Also, that should be on a timer. And I don't know how to get back to where that gate opened up. And I never found the other side of the laser grid. The laser grid is obviously the fastest way to get to that area. I might just stumble my way into that area accidentally, because I do not know the exit. Whereabouts the exit would be. It's definitely not here. That is an anti-exit. Like the look of this. This feels like an ascent. I have been led astray by the first apparent ascent that I stumbled towards. I did hear the sound of the laser grid, but I didn't see it. The only thing left in this level is the laser grid. Okay, now I cannot leave this area. One of these identical passageways is an exit. I promise you this. I have no idea which one. This is looking like it. Yeah. A slightly different shade of brown. Vaguely bluish. Means you are finally free. These last 7 tokens and rot in hell. Brutal level. 15 minutes. On to Freestyle A's. We're gonna look for eggs. This is also a terrible level in my opinion. But not as bad. In that way, it's a mercy. As I said, though, I really think this game ran out of all inspiration. Certainly by this point. Arguably much earlier. So we're on a highway. The ship's making constant bombing runs around us. There's like a tower we can explore. There's some rocks over to my left. Ignore those for now. We'll come back to those. So I guess don't ignore them, because they're very, very important. But they're easy to ignore. And I did ignore them for a very long time on my blind playthrough. But what really screwed me over in my blind playthrough was right over here. So we got these things, these turrets that pop up. We go around the highway. Did you see that? Right here. The first generator. Ridiculously easy to miss. And if you miss it, you're never going to get that generator. It is the only generator in this entire, I'm going to call it overworld area. Because now we go back. We find those big rocks that I talked about earlier, these ones. We blast our way through. This is where the entire level is located. The highway is pointless. There's nothing out there except that one generator. The other 8 are all down here. Here's one now. Really need to get my health refilled, or I'm gonna die. We're pushing... I mean, we're probably gonna take about 3 hours to beat this game, which is exactly what I expected, based on my practice run and the recorded YouTube playthrough of this game, which totals about 3 hours. So this is not my fault that this game is so slow. It is, like, almost unavoidable to play it this slowly. Like I said, if I really, really wanted to practice, I think I could get it down to about an hour and a half. But I'd like to make discoveries that got it down under an hour. That might be impossibly ambitious, but it seems like this would be an easy game to break to pieces. All you glitch hunters out there. I would point out that this takes a very different skill set from Twisted Metal. Defeating vehicles is not required or recommended. So if you want to strategize and do like level-based mission challenges, it's the game for you. And if you were to work out viable strategies, you could beat this game very, very easily. For example, I'm invisible, which means I can't be harmed. There are 5 generators remaining. They are down here somewhere. And I absolutely am not going to get to them in time, because I took a bad route. There's a mini-boss here, who has teleportation powers. Unfortunately for this mini-boss, it teleports after you hit it, not before you hit it. So it takes the damage and then moves to a different location, so it does not continue to take damage. Anyway, we got all the generators. I wanted to do that all while I had the invincibility up, but I got lost in these identical passageways. As noted, I think this level sucks as well, but it clearly is not as bad as the Sun Dogs. Because the Sun Dogs level is terrible. Tokens are optional. They unlock upgrades as you collect them. The only upgrade that matters is the first one that you get. And it would be extremely difficult to avoid enough tokens to not get the first upgrade relatively early on in the game. And here's our exit. We are a long way away from the dropship, unfortunately. But it's all busy work. The level is completed. We just need to backtrack. There's a jump I think I can take for a shortcut back to where the dropship is. I don't know if I'm gonna find it. I think it's... Nah, this is nothing. Just an energy refill spot. Thought I saw the dropship. I guess I was mistaken. Good thing touching that doesn't hurt you. Get that turret out of here. And I'm free. I'm free. Thank you. There is a vehicle called the Disciples of Pog, driven by a bunch of clowns, which is vaguely Sweet Tooth-esque. I'm surprised that level can be completed so quickly. I'm also glad it can be completed so quickly. That was pretty efficient, and the Slick Runners is, as noted, the final level of the game. Before the final boss. The final full level of the game. So... it should be the hardest level in the game. As far as damage that you're going to take while playing this level, it is the hardest level. You can die very, very quickly here. As far as finding and destroying the 12 generators, which is the most generators of any level in the game, it's actually pretty merciful. In a lot of ways, this is just sort of like a combat-focused level in a game where the combat doesn't really matter. So 12 generators is very, very intimidating when you first load into this level. And then you find your first generator, and then it's a cluster of 4. And then you turn a corner, and there's 4 more. It says there are 12 generators. There are effectively 3. generators in this level. And 2 of them are right next to each other. The 3rd one, you do have to solve some puzzles to go find it. But even those puzzles are relatively easy. This thing, however, is the most dangerous enemy in the game. It shoots 4 missiles at a time. It will shred your health. And it has shredded my health. There's a health refill thing right over here, I think. Nope, not there. There. Desperately need this. There's also a flamethrower enemy, right over here. The nice thing about the flamethrower is that it has a very limited range in its attack. So we can stand just outside of that range and shoot it with our weapons. Make the little dune buggy run away. Up. The sky thing is shooting me. So, I'll run over here. Activate that. Send my way back. Oh yeah, as far as I can tell, this game does not have selectable difficulty levels. I'm pretty sure that, yes, this is the highest difficulty because there's only one. Unless I'm mistaken, I do not have the manual. Everything I know about this game is from experimentation and watching other people's videos. Yeah, difficulty selection. That is for full-priced video games. This is a $10 budget title. I am going to get murdered by this ship that shoots 4 missiles at a time and has a ton of HP. Oh man. So that just loaded me back at the beginning of this level here. I think there's a way around this since I have nothing to lose at this point. I saved the game after beating this level. So let me just do something. Reset the emulator. Wait for the stream to catch it again. OBS. Help me out here. Thank you. I should be able to load my saved game. It's weird. Every other game I played on this emulator crashes when I try to load a save. This one, thankfully, works just fine. Because that was a pretty severe screw-up on my part. Almost had to replay the entirety of the America level, which took about 10 minutes the first time through. There's a button that switches targets? I didn't even know that. But apparently I could have been switching targets manually this whole time. No wonder I didn't know that. Because it's the select button, which makes no sense. So really, you want to play this level as quickly as possible. Because that horrible dropship is above us at all times, raining hell. It can be killed, but it has a lot of HP. It's simply way too dangerous. I would like to have nothing to do with it. So, back on track. We're essentially right where we left off already. But there's that ship to murder me. And there are 2 ships. We can kill that one. And then we go to the next area and the next one is waiting for us. So I'm going to clear the path a little bit. I don't think that hovercraft there serves any purpose whatsoever. It seems to just bounce you around. I'm gonna hit this thing. Although I think I pretty much used it up. Oh, there was still plenty of juice in there. Very good. And there's way fewer enemies, so... Ugh. I hate this dropship. Doing a save state to hopefully save time in the future. But I inevitably get murdered by this dropship. There might even be a 3rd dropship. And they all have tons of HP and they're very, very damaging. But that opens a gateway over here. One turret destroys the flamethrower behind it, which is good. Staying back here is also a good idea because I need to really make a run for it. Because we are now ready to get destroyed by that. I could sit back and snipe it. And this has gone so poorly that I might actually want to go back and snipe it. Well, knowing what the target selector is now is actually very helpful. Now it's useless. Totally useless. Yeah, it's impossible to find any safe spot. No matter where I am, I'm going to get sniped by the drop ship. Yeah, this would be a nightmare without save states. Learning this game was a nightmare even with save states. I spent most of yesterday playing all these levels so that I would know the basic gist, so that I would be able to get through this in a reasonable stream duration. Because I did want to show this game off. I was very generously urged to do so. And also, I do think this is a game worthy of being shown off. So no complaints there. But there's a lot to complain about. Perhaps I will complain about it. Got a healing station. That gate will close down on you, though. And will lock me out, so... best to move along. I might have taken out the dropship. I don't see it anymore, but it does make very wide rounds. So it could just be in a spot where it's not currently threatening me, but it could come back anytime. We need to shoot that target there. The lock-on will not help me. And the lock-on is aggressively anti-helping me. There it is. One generator left. There it goes. Need to find my way back. There's a panel there to open up the power plant, which is back in the main area. I want nothing to do with the power plant. What I want is to open up that gate there. Which can be done, and I forget how. But that clearly is not it. That sends me quite a ways back. Okay. That dropship is down. And so am I, but I will respawn. Dropship. Not. The button to open that gate is way up there. So that was the big problem. That is worthy of a save state. Oh wow, lock on. Working wonders this time. Went right for the gate that I need to open up. Big red target. It's a miracle. I don't think opening up the power plant is of any use to me, though. Trying to figure out how to open up that thing there. That opened up a different gate. Yeah, my blind run, I opened up the gate that's right behind me right now. That might have done it. Nope. That'll do it. That takes me right back to the main area. Where the dropship is waiting. There's the dropship. So yeah, this level's very gimmicky. Getting 100% here would be a big pain. No thanks. I never intended to do that. And we're free. Final full level of the game. And it is very short. Crime Lord is all that remains. Let's murder him. So this is not a level, this is a final boss. We'll have to decide whether we trust his signage, because he left this for us. This way. I don't know. Should I trust a crime lord? No. Why would this even exist? If it wasn't the right way. Take a little detour over here. So yeah, we got this whole elaborate side area that just keeps going. Beyond the point where I even am right now. Get to this area. I should have mentioned sooner. This boss attacks by flashing the entire screen. Very sorry in advance. No way to avoid it. It is going to happen throughout the entirety of this fight. This quote-unquote fight. When the entire screen flashes, if you are in the boss's arena, you will take constant unavoidable damage until the screen fades back to visibility. So that's annoying. The reason I went over there is to get this, a shield. There is a second shield there that I could go pick up, but you can't hold two shields at the same time, so it would be wasted if I were to go get it. This is the boss arena, where we are likely to see way more flashes. As long as I stay behind this wall here, the flashes will not harm me. I'm gonna head out there. We can shoot these spinning things. They generate a green shield, which renders Crime Lord invincible. So we need to break all the spinning drones. And we can do so with our homing shots, which have a hard time homing in on their exact movement pattern. Nonetheless, I think our best bet is to just stand back here, fire homing shots. Boss has homing shots of his own. I believe they're identical to our own homing missiles. For all intents and purposes, at least. Maybe I'll have better luck from this angle. We can track where enemies are based on the movement of the turret on top of our vehicle. I'm gonna go stop off for a refill, because the sooner I empty out the recharge station, the sooner it will recharge itself. I might need to stop off multiple times. Oh, wow. That's a really interesting catch. Pizzerato just realized, had an epiphany in chat, that the mini-bosses we've killed throughout the game have caused Crime Lord to generate fewer drones. Therefore, this boss fight doesn't last as long as you kill the mini-bosses throughout the game. So the mini-bosses we defeated earlier actually affect the final boss. Even though they seem pointless, they're still pointless, ultimately. We're very lucky the bosses decided not to use the flash attack on me. Very lucky. And I have an invincibility shield. The boss no longer has invincibility, so I'm literally just holding the attack button. The boss's health should drain faster than the duration of the invincibility. There we go. Game over. They gave you the means to trivialize the final boss. I wonder if there are exactly as many mini-bosses as there are drones that generate the boss's shield. That is an interesting mechanic. Very good catch there, Pizzerato. Glad I could help you reach that epiphany. We learned a lot about this silly-ass old forgotten game. As noted, not a bad game. So certainly not a good game, but not a bad game. Congratulations! You have defeated the Crime Lord. And your gang now reigns supreme. Your future is secure, but you must maintain your hold by accepting any challenges that are offered. Well done! And then credits. Thank you to Dave Physics Morris for inventing physics. Before the year 2000, no physics. But they wanted the game Grudge Warriors to exist, so they had to make physics. And so they did. And here we are today. Kinda glad that Pike Squad are indeed the correct choice if you want to play through this game and to see all the levels. Now, seeing all the levels arguably is not the correct choice. You should certainly skip some of these levels since the game gives you the means to do so. But, you know, there's not a lot of record of this game. In fact, at this point, I'd say this recording is probably the most thorough record of Grudge Warriors that exists. And I didn't even read what the stories of half the gangs are. Such that they are. This game's manual is like a book. It's very, very thick. I saw pictures of the manual when I was looking up like eBay listings on this game. And yeah, there's a lot of information in that manual that I don't have. Pizzerado's been kind enough to share it. I hope this has been worth your extremely generous contribution. Hell yeah, indeed. Fun game, unique-ish game. The fact that I have now declared this to be car combat means I have other games lined up in my mind that feature a protagonist that happens to be a car, but are otherwise like adventure games. And now I'm gonna play through those as Twisted Monday bonus content. So, congrats on the can of worms. Thank you for such a generous contribution, Pizzerado. And for joining me throughout the stream. Seems to have been enjoyable for you. You got what you wanted. You made everyone else get it as well. Congrats. And I can say, in all honesty, this game changed my life. Because I received a life-changing contribution to my GoFundMe in order to be forced to play it. That said, I wanted to play it anyway. And now I have done so. That's Grudge Warriors. I doubt I will ever play it again, but I enjoyed my very long time spent with it. It outstays its welcome, but fundamentally, worth checking out. I think so, at least. And yeah, really means a lot to me that it came to this. But I've pontificated about that throughout the Twisted Metal playthrough and now throughout Grudge Warriors. Thanks again. Thanks to everyone for joining me. Plenty more car combat content headed your way. Stay tuned. But for now, I deserve a break. And so do you, dear viewer. Have a good one, folks.